Hello guys, this is Paula, and I am back determined to teach you how to do this folder. Now, in video part 1, we are only going to do the folding portion, okay? I don't want to overwhelm you. That way you can get you 3 manila folders and you can practice it, and I'll do the other video tomorrow on how to put it together. And I don't know, we'll have several parts. This will be a little series. Anyway, you're going to need 3 manila folders. Now, ignore my notes that I've written on here. Listen, I made 2 of these and got them correct. And so, I'd made it before and I deleted the video because it was so bad. And, it didn't make sense to me, so I knew it wouldn't make sense to anybody else. And I thought when I have more time, I'll go back to it. So that's what I've done. All right, so you need 3 manila folders. You're going to pull them out of the package, and you want 3 that has a tab just like this. Like 2. You want them in this order. Tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. Okay? Now, and you're also going to want them, there's 2 different directions you can turn them. You can turn them where you can see that little fold right there. You don't want that side. We're going to turn that around. We want it where it's flush whenever you lift it up. See? Okay. Now, here we go. We're going to start. This is what I did. I put number 1 top, number 2 top, and number 3 top. And the top will make sense in a little bit, but we want to number them and use pencil. Okay, so we're going to turn them like this because that's why I put top, so that you know this is the top. This is number 1 top, number 2 top, number 3 top. Okay, so just take number 1 top and set number 2 and 3 to the side. Okay, and you get your cutter out. Now, if you need to pause the video and write down measurements or anything, you can. Honestly, there is no measurements. It's all about how you fold. And you're going to need a very good score tool. And a pencil, a score tool, a cutter, and a pair of scissors. Okay, now this is what we want it to look like when we're done, right here. Okay, so you can understand why we want this portion up here. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do, let me make sure you can see this little notch that kind of comes out right here. First thing we want to do is cut that off. It's probably about 1/8 of an inch, just to really come down even with the curve and cut that off. So let's do that first. Gonna line it up on your cutting board, and you can see that I kind of did a little line right there so you can tell where you're going to cut it. You're just barely going to cut it right there, like I said, like 1/8 of an inch. Okay, we're just lining that up, and see, it's not that much. You can toss that in the trash. Okay, we're not going to even this up or anything right now. We'll do all that later. Okay, now we want the height of our book to be 6.5 inches. Okay, so when I talk about 6.5 inches, I mean from the top to the bottom. Okay, don't worry about the width. It has nothing to do with anything, okay? So from the top to the bottom, 6.5 inches after we cut off the little niche, okay? Now, so you're going to flip your folder around because you want the top of your folder to be the side you keep, okay? So you're going to put it at 6.5 on your cutter. Line it up at 6.5. This is your top front, okay, right here. I'm lining it up. Make sure you can see. It's so hard whenever your cutter is bigger than your table. Gonna line it up at 6.5. right here. This is the front, top one, lining it up at 6.5. Okay? And you've got it still folded, so you're just going to cut through both thicknesses. And there you go. Number 1 is cut, and that's all the cutting we're going to do on this one. Okay, now we're going to set it to the side. We're going to keep them in order. Top 1, top 2, top 3. So we're going to set it to the side, and we're going to do the same thing with top 2. So bring your top 2 folder over, and it should have the tab in the middle. The other one had the tab, you know, top left. This one's going to have the tab in the middle. Now, we're going to do the same sort of thing, except open up your cutter. Make sure you guys can see. Let me scoot up and see if you can see. Yeah, you can. Okay. Now we're going to cut a niche off. I'm calling it a niche, but really the niche is way over here. We're not going to worry about this niche because we need to cut straight from right beside this tab, which is going to be the same thing. You're just going to basically cut down even. You're just going to cut right here, just to the left of your tab. Okay? And there's no right or wrong way to do it, just so you know. Set the scrap that you took off to the side. We'll use those later for pockets and tucks and so forth. Now, we want this one to be 6.5 inches from the top to the bottom. Okay? So we're going to flip it around and have our notch at the top because we want to cut off part of the bottom. Okay? So line up the top of your tab where the notch used to be, or the pretend notch, and we're going to cut off this lower little piece of scrap. Set it to the side. Now, this is 6.5 inches, just like our first one. This is top 2 that we just did. Okay, remember it used to have the tab in the middle. This is number 1. They both look just alike right now, and that's okay. All right, now we'll set those to the side, and we get number 3. This is an easy part. Now our tab is all the way to the right this time, and so we're going to cut this little niche off right here to the right side of it. See right here? So we're going to go in this way, all the way over, and just line up, you know, that little niche, and we're going to cut it off right about, it's going to be like real close to, no, see, that's too far. So I was trying to go 1/4 of an inch, but it wouldn't let me. So you got to go about 1/8 of an inch, and you have to really hang on to it so it will be straight. I still am off a little bit. It's kind of hard to hold it on this side. I could flip it over, but I don't want to make it confusing. My last video did that. Okay, there we go. And you can toss this piece. Okay, now we're just going to bring our folder straight in to 6.5 inches. Line it up at 6.5 inches. There you go. Set this aside. And now we have number 3. And we have it says number 3 top, number 2 top, number 1 top. Now, this is going to be the order of our pages right here. I'm going to set my cutter to the side. I don't think I need it anymore. You're going to need your score tool. Okay. Now this gets confusing. This is the part that's kind of confusing to people. And it was confusing to me as well, and it took me doing it several times. I'm going to have several of these folders that I can work on at various times. So we're going to get number 1, okay, set 2 and 3 to the side, and we're going to open it out. Now this is the front side. So see, because it says top top one right here. Your wrong side won't have anything written on it, but we're going to work from the wrong side, okay? Just so you know, we're going to work from the wrong side. So we're going to have it facing up where it says top, number one, top. Okay, now you're going to lift from here, flip it over. Okay? Now, once you have it on its back side, we're going to turn it in a circle, a half circle, because we want this smaller tab. We got two tabs right here. We want the smaller on the right side, the bigger on the left. And again, we're on the back, we're on the inside of the folder, on the back side of the folder. There's no writing. It doesn't say top one on the inside. It says it on the outside right there. Okay, so we're inside the folder. Okay, so we probably could have just like flipped it open now that I think about it. Okay, so we're on the inside now, but I'm thinking that we do have to flip it over. Let me look at my little, let me look at my little notes. Yeah, we do. We do. We have to, let's start over. Let's start over right here. Okay. I've done this 2 times in a row right before I filmed it. So that's how fresh it is in my mind. But I've been taking notes and I had to stop and think. Okay, so we're going to open it. Okay. And we're going to take this part right here and let me think for a second. Okay. Take this part right here. And see this line right here next to your tab? And see this tab? We're going to line it up right here. If I get this video wrong, I'm going to be really angry at myself. Now, over here, where your fold once was, we're going to have a new fold. Because we're holding this down very tight. We have this tab lined up even with that one lower section. Okay, and you have to really pull it over there, make sure it's all straight down the side and lined up. Hold that down. Now, you're going to see right here, let me move it over a little. You're going to line it up. This is the most confusing part. And it's not really confusing after you've done it a few times. It's just getting started on the right side. Now, you're going to see that I'm going to come down here, and this is going to be sticking up. Because that's where the folder is folded. But I need to make it have a new fold. So you're going to break the fibers down is what you're going to do. This will break the fibers down. See how I'm doing? So you do it in the very middle. Hold your tabs down really strong. And then you're going to score really good. Now, you're going to be breaking these fibers down. Flip it over. Score on the other side really good. Flip it back over. Score again. Now, we're back on the side we need to be on. And if you look here, you can see that we have lined this little tab right here up even with this line to the left of the tab. This tab's still sticking up. We're going to have 3 tabs sticking up at the end of this, and it's going to be these big ones, not the small ones. Okay, now lay it back down. And we're going to take this small tab again. I'm going to turn it this way so you can see better. I've got it upside down. So here's the small tab. Here's the new fold. New fold in the bottom of the folder. We're going to bend it the opposite direction. Okay? We're going to bend it the opposite direction. And we're going to line this same tab. We're going to line the same tab up with our fold of the new crease in the bottom of the... And you want to make sure everything lines up really nice there. Even the sides, like you want these sides to line up. See right here and right here? Everything to line up. because what's going to happen, it's going to make a difference on where the bottom of your pages come together. Okay, there. We're going to fold that, keep doing it. Then you can open it out, crease it on both sides really good. Okay, now fold it back. Okay, now we've got that correct. We're going to flip it over. And we're going to work from the big tab side. Okay, for some reason this folder is, look at the difference in that. Why is that off so much? I'll figure it out later. But it shouldn't, see how it's off right here? My cutter may have did that. I had to buy a new cutter the other day. It may be me. It's lined up though. If you look, you can see it's lined up. And we're going to do this 2 more times. So here we go. We're going to line up this lower portion. Okay? Not the tab. We're still working with this small little section. We're going to line it up all the way up, and the only thing that's sticking up is this tab. And again, make sure everything lines up on both sides. Crease it. Crease it on the other side. Fold it back. And voila. Look. They're all in order. See? You're supposed to have what they call a W. The W effect. You know. Right here like this. That's how you know it's correct. Okay? So basically what we did is we took those 2 fold lines that we had before and we made an extra one right here in order for everything to fold. Now that looks like it's not right, but that's the back side. So we're going to flip that over, okay? And really this is the tops, because if you look, it says top. That's the top now. This is, you know, let me make sure I got that right. No, I don't. Here, let's go like this. Your top, this needs to be the top. So we're just going to go back and just refold that section because obviously I had it backwards. Why can things not go like you want them to when you get on camera? I'm telling you guys. See, here is the little fold right there. This happens. I can do it perfect, and then, you know, you get on camera and it's crazy. So there we go. You know, it's not a big deal. All you got to do is reverse what you just did. Now, you can see how perfect it is. Here's the one I did prior to getting on camera on the left, and this is the one we did on the right. Here's what the back sides look like. They're identical. Okay? This is what I want you to do is if you feel like you did it backwards like I just did, just rewind this video and go to that part and pause it and look as you go. I do a lot of pausing on my videos because if I don't understand it completely, then I'm like, okay, so here is page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the first one. We're going to do this 2 more times. So put top 1 over to the side. Get number 2 out. Okay. Top 2. It's got the tab on the top also. Open it out. Just like this. You're going to have a little niche right here. Just cut straight on that and cut it off. Forgot about that little niche. Okay. So now we have the wrong side in here. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go from the right, take the small tab, and we don't have to pull it very far on this first one, and line it up right there. Make sure your sides are lined up. And then it's going to look all wobbly down here when you first do it. And that's why you got to break it down with the fibers in the paper down with your score tool. Okay, then flip it over and do it again. Now, probably what will end up happening is how I had to flip it the other way a while ago. It'll do that again. Let me see what it looks like if it does this. Okay, now that we've scored that, let's go ahead and flip it over and see if it will make a difference when we're completely finished. And pull it up and make sure your little score line's like it should be down here. Your new little line at the fold. Okay, now we're going to take this small tab like we did before, line it up over here, line it up, holding your score line down, line your little tab straight up with the fold. Make sure the sides are lined up. Score. Well, you're not scoring. You're creasing. Okay, crease your score line there. And you're going to crease the other side. I do both sides because this manila folder is strong and takes a lot to flatten it. Okay, now you're going to flip this over and we're going to do the same thing with this lower portion. See? We're going to line it up right there. Make sure your sides line up. Score. Both sides. And by flipping that back like I did at the beginning, it made it correct. Okay, so this is the one we just did. This is the one I did. Let me see if I did it wrong. Somehow I'm flipping them backwards because look. So it just needs to go back like we did earlier. Opposite way. I don't know what my deal is. This goes like that. This goes like that. I'm telling you, I've done it one too many times today. I haven't felt super good today, so I thought I'm going to just sit and practice and see if I can figure out how to do this for everyone, because I think it'll be a fun junk journal when we're done. And it's really not hard. It's just trial and error is what it amounts to. So this is the first one, or the first one I did before camera, and this is the one we just did. And I did have it written on the wrong side. Whoopsie. So I'll erase it off of this side so there's no confusion later on. Because trust me, it doesn't take much to get me confused today. Okay, so now we're going to take our number one that we did together. Here we go. Now see, what you want is you want this top tab, number one, to be at the top, and number two to be at the bottom, so that it looks like this. Okay? Let's set those aside. Let's do number three. Just turn it over, flip it over like we did, and hold it up here, all the way up, line everything up, push with the flat part of your hand, score, flip it over and score again. Okay, now we're going to bring this up to the fold, this tab, right up to the bottom fold that we just changed. Made a new fold out of it. Okay. Here we go. It's getting faster and faster. And it will make sense. The more of these you make, I suggest you sit down and make several. And maybe make some Christmas gifts or something. You know, there might be people you want to make one of your journals for, like granddaughters or whatever, or even grandsons. And you don't want to spend as much as you would spend on a big journal in as much time, but this would make a difference as a help. Now, again, you have to go back and flip it over I don't know why I had forgotten that you have to do that, but make sure everything still lines up. Gotta line that up. Okay. Then line this up. And then line that up. Yeah, there we go. I just wrote it on there wrong is what I did, guys. That's what happens when you get in a big hurry. If you line it up wrong, something on this one didn't come out. See? So, let's do it again. We line it up here, and that's correct. I must have pulled something the wrong direction. Line it up here. Flip it over. Oh, I know what we did. We need to just do this backwards. For some reason, it's not wanting to cooperate. There it is, right there. Sometimes that little bitty tiny fold score line that we make right here, you know, at the bottom where we change the creases, it's so tiny, it's like 1/8 of an inch. And so sometimes it folds under. And then you have to bring this like that. And there is your front. Number 3, top. Okay? And we'll erase this one off. I just wrote it on the wrong side prior to our little video. Okay, so this is the one I did before video. This is the one I did now. Here we go. They look the same. Okay? Now, we're going to grab the 2 we made together, or the 3 we made together, put them in order of 1, 2, 3. And you're going to notice that you've got 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, the next thing, let me think a minute about what the next thing needs to be blah, 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 what we do next. Okay? I'm trying to remember what will be next. I'm going to cut this video. I'm going to stop this video because I think what we have to do next is ink everything. Okay, so I don't want you to have to sit here and look at me ink. So it's important that you ink everything, and you can see the point that I got to before. You have to ink everything first, and then we will come back after inking everything and put the spine portion together. Now, we're just going to glue it a straight line down here inside the spine and get it together like this, and let it dry before we move on to the next step. So, and the next step is making the different pockets and so forth. So, this is going to be the end of part 1. What I want you to do for homework, before I come back on with the next video, which could be a few hours after, or it could be the next day. We'll just see. I want you to ink everything, and then we'll glue this together. Or if you feel like you can glue it together, all you're going to do is you're even going to glue. Okay, this is the first piece. Let's get ready to glue it. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run a little bit of glue right here, right along the edge. And we're going to take it, make sure it lines up, and glue it. Make sure this is very straight. Hold it for a minute. We're going to glue it, we're going to glue it, we're going to glue it. You want everything lined up perfectly straight. And once this is holding, you can go and do glue to the front of the second one. Right like that. Okay. And then glue to the next part. It's simple. You're basically gluing all your spine together, and then right like that. And now, when you get them all on there, you want to make sure while everything's wet that everything is coming out straight. And everything is flat across here, just like that. I don't know what we're going to do with the spine yet. We may put like a fabric spine on at some point. I don't know. I haven't decided. Or maybe even a paper spine. But I will show you how to glue it in the next video. I will glue mine that I'm working on over here. And then we'll glue this one together. And then we can pick up and work on mine. That way we don't have to stop. All right, guys. I think we finally figured it out. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you at in part 2, where we glue the spine. But prior to that, I want you to ink everything. Okay? And we'll do the spine, and then we'll start putting the pockets together, which is pretty interesting. I'm going to show you real fast. Okay, the spine is together here. See how nice and straight it is? And everything is inked. This is what happens is you open it up, and this is where it was folded before. And oh, that's not the right one. That's the one page. Oh, I got it upside down. That would help to have it right side up. Okay, page 1. And right up here is a pocket. See right here? That's a pocket. And a page. And flip it over. And then over here is going to be a side pocket. See? And it alternates every time. Top, side, top. I decided not to put the side on this one because I didn't want it to be, I wanted the outsides to be open. But you can decide how many pockets, how many side pockets you have. And then we're going to go back in here and we're going to cover the pages and decorate them. And we'll put pockets and side tucks and belly bands and whatever we want inside. So ink your paper. If you know how to, you understand how to glue it, go ahead and glue it. If you want to wait, we can glue it together. All right, guys. See you next time in part 2. Bye.